Hare Krishna, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Today we are going to study the verse number 70 of chapter number 6 of Bhagwat Gita as it is. The name of this chapter is Dhyan Yoga, which means to meditate on the Supreme Lord, who resides in Paramatma form in everyone's heart. In the previous verse, we came to know that the people who either eat too much or too less, and the people who consume non-vegetarian food, plus the people who sleep too much or too less, they can never become a yogi. Now in today's verse, Krishna is going to tell us who will surely become a yogi and would definitely come out of all kinds of material miseries and pains. Now let us read the verse number 70 of chapter number 6. Yuktaharasya viharasya yuktacheshtasya karmasu yuktasvapna avabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha yukta ahar viharasya yuktacheshtasya karmasu yuktasvapna avabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha yuktahar viharasya yuktacheshtasya karmasu yuktasvapna avabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. Shri Krishna is telling to Arjun, he who is temperate in his habits of eating, sleeping, working and recreation can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. Shri Krishna is telling to Arjun that a person who is moderate in his habits of eating, sleeping, working and recreation, he can mitigate all kinds of material pains by practicing the yoga system. Yukta ahar viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapna avabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. Now let us read the Anvay given by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur ki Jai. Yukt, appropriate. Ahar, eating. Viharasya, for one whose recreation. Yukt, appropriate. Chetasya, whose movements. Karmasu, in activities. Yukta, appropriate. Swapna, and sleeping. Avabodhasya, whose waking. Yoga, the process of linking with the Supreme Lord. Bhavati becomes. Dukkha, a slayer of material miseries. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, for a person who is moderate in eating and recreation, balanced in work and regulated in sleeping and wakefulness, his practice of yoga destroys all material miseries. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, a person's worldly and transcendental activities will lead to success only if he is regulated in eating and recreation. Further, Chakravarti Pad says that if a person is not moderate in eating and recreation, then he faces various miseries that become an obstacle in his practice of sadhana. Similarly, if his mind is flickering and agitated because of various anxieties, it is also not possible for him to attain perfection in the practice of sadhana. Therefore, it's very important that in a balanced manner, the practitioner should eat food that is easily digestible and nourishing. It is imperative for the practitioner of bhakti to follow the instructions given by Srila Rupa Goswami in Sri Updeshamrit, wherein he says that only a person who controls the urges of mind, anger, tongue, and genitals can perform sadhana properly. And in addition to it, one should keep distance from the 6 unfavorable activities, and they are overeating, over endeavoring for mundane things, talking unnecessarily, having undue attachment or disregard for rules and regulations, and further taking bad association and maintaining a desire to follow a false philosophy. So here Chakravarti Pad says that the instructions given by Srila Rupa Goswami in Updeshamrit says that a person who controls urges of the mind, anger, tongue and genitals can perform sadhana properly. And in addition to it, it is said that person should stay away from 6 unfavorable activities, and those activities are overeating, over endeavoring for mundane things, then talking unnecessarily, and then having undue attachment to or disregard for rules and regulations, and taking bad association and maintaining a desire to follow a false philosophy. Chakravarti Pad says that in this verse, the word Yukta Swapna Avabodhasya mean regulated sleep and regulated wakefulness. So very clearly Chakravarti Pad has said that a person who is moderate in eating and recreation, he is balanced in his work and regulated in sleep and wakefulness, only he can practice yoga, and which is further going to destroy all kinds of material miseries and pains. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur ki jai. Now let us read the purport given by Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnavon ki jai. Srila Prabhupada says that extravagance in the matter of eating, sleeping, defending and mating, which are the demands of the body, they can block advancement in the practice of yoga. Prabhupada says that if a person indulges too much in the matter of eating, sleeping, defending and mating, which are the demands of the body, but it can block the advancement of practice in yoga. Prabhupada explained this. He says that human life is meant for spiritual advancement. But if a person only indulges in the eating, sleeping, defending and mating, then his life is no better than an animal. This is the reason that Krishna is teaching us to moderate the various needs of the body. Further, Srila Prabhupada says that as far as eating is concerned, it can be regulated only when one is practiced to take and accept Krishna Prasadam, which is sanctified food. Prabhupada says that Lord Krishna is offered according to Bhagwat Gita, chapter number 9, shlok number 26, vegetables, flowers, fruits, grains and milk. In this way, a Krishna conscious person automatically becomes trained to accept only Krishna Prasadam and not to accept any food which is not meant for human consumption or which is not in the category of goodness. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhaktya upahartyam ashnami prayatatmanaha. Now very clearly has said that if one offers him with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, fruit or water, he will accept. Krishna says that I accept it. I accept a leaf, a flower, a fruit or water, a drop of water. If it is offered to me with love and devotion. It becomes very easy for a Krishna devotee, because when Krishna has himself said to offer him vegetables, fruits, flowers, grains, and milk, and so many kinds of delicious dishes can be prepared out of these things, and these category of food belong to the category of goodness, then a Krishna devotee, he prepares nice dishes, offers it to Krishna, and has it as prasadam. Automatically he is trained not to accept any other food which is not offered to Krishna. So he is trained, and automatically he follows the restrictions of regulated food, or we can say food which is in the mode of goodness, that is Krishna prasadam. Prabhupada further says that as far as sleeping is concerned, a Krishna conscious person is always alert in the discharge of his duties in Krishna consciousness, and therefore any unnecessary time spent in sleeping is considered by him as a great loss. A Krishna conscious person cannot bear to pass even a minute of his life without being engaged in the service of Krishna. Therefore, his sleeping is kept to a minimum. His ideal in this respect is Srila Rupa Goswami, who was always engaged in the service of Krishna and who could not sleep more than 2 hours a day, and sometimes even that was not possible. Then Haridas Thakur, he would not even accept prasadam nor even sleep for a moment without finishing his daily routine of chanting with his beads 300,000 names. Prabhupada says that the great examples of Srila Rupa Goswami and Haridas Thakur, they have set ideals in front of us. Now further Prabhupada says that as far as work is concerned, a Krishna conscious person does not do anything which is not connected with Krishna's interest, and thus his work is always regulated and is untainted by sense gratification. And Prabhupada in the end of his purport says that there is no question of sense gratification in a Krishna conscious person's life, and therefore there is no material leisure for a person who is in Krishna consciousness, which means he is always serving Krishna and he never wastes even a single moment which is not in the service of Krishna. So there is no material leisure for a person who is in Krishna consciousness. And because he is regulated in all his work, speech, sleep, wakefulness, and all other bodily activities, so there is no material misery for him at all. Srila Prabhupada, in very simple words, explained to us that why do we need to follow such rules and regulations, and what is the real purpose of yoga system. Prabhupada says that if a finger is cut from the body, then that finger does not have any value at all, and the body also feels the absence of it. Like when our one tooth is removed because of cavity or because of some other reason, then the tongue repeatedly goes in the empty place. Similarly, we being the eternal part of the Supreme Krishna, we are His children and He is our eternal parent. We are suffering in this material world because of the separation. This is why Krishna has given us various yoga process so that we can connect back with Him. And the various yoga process are Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. Jnana Yoga means trying to reconnect with Him by the path of knowledge. Then Dhyan Yoga means trying to reconnect with the Supreme Lord by the path of meditation. And finally, the topmost process is of Bhakti Yoga, that is, by the path of devotion. Srila Prabhupada says that this material body is the root cause of all material problems and miseries. He says this because we are spirit soul and have no connection with this material body. But because of some reason, we are engaged in this material body. And this is why we have to suffer here. And the reason of being engaged in the material body is this, that we wanted to individually enjoy this material world and not serve Sri Krishna. So this is why we are all engaged in this material body and now we are all suffering. Prabhupada says that though this material body is the reason of all sorts of miseries, but we can make the best use of the bad bargain.
Material body, you are under the laws of material nature, especially birth, death, old age and disease, so you become bound. Therefore, this human form of life is specially meant for to get freedom from this bondage, birth, death and old age. The people do not understand. Their brain is so packed up with material things that they have become just like animals. They cannot understand. But anyway, unless one understands the spiritual significance of life, he is like animal. Sayeva Gokhara, Shastra has said, Gokhara. Gokhara means animal, means cows, and khara means ass. So anyone who is acting on the bodily concept of life without any spiritual understanding is no better than anyone.
Prabhupada says that this material body is the reason of all sorts of misery because this body has to go through the process of birth, old age, disease and death. But this body, which gives us so much of pain on the level of physical, on the level of mind, on the level of unfulfilled desires, but still this human body is the best use, we can make the best use of the bad bargain. And why Prabhupada says? He says it so because this body undoubtedly gives us material miseries and we are not meant for all this because we are spirit soul. But this body is a fabulous machine which gives us an opportunity to attain spiritual advancement. This is why Prabhupada says that though this body gives us so much of material pains and sufferings, but let us make the best use of the bad bargain. Once we have gotten the human form of life, now let us make the best use of it. Prabhupada says that out of 84 lakh varieties of body, it is only the human form of body in which a living entity can understand the real purpose of life. This is the reason that Krishna has given us Bhagwat Gita, and in Bhagwat Gita, he has explained to us Jnana Yoga, Dhyan Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. Now we have to understand it and regulate our life which will be suitable for spiritual advancement. Srila Prabhupada says that no one should stop eating, sleeping, defending or mating. These are the basic needs of the physical body, but certainly it has to be regulated, and for this one needs to gradually reduce it, not make abrupt changes. Prabhupada says that our ultimate ideals are our acharyas and Goswamis like Srila Rupa Goswami, who would only sleep for 2 hours in a day and sometimes even less than that. Then Haridas Thakurji, whom we know as our Naam Acharya, who would chant for 192 rounds daily of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which took him around 22 hours every day. He used to chant on his beads 300,000 times the name of the Lord, and without completing his daily routine, he would not eat, drink, or sleep. These are just two examples, and we have many, many more acharyas like Srila Rupa Goswami and Haridas Thakur. Prabhupada says that these two examples are surely to motivate us, but we should never copy them mindlessly. We don't need to copy the Goswamis and our acharyas. Rather, Prabhupada says that we need to follow the instructions. And the instruction is to regulate food. The instruction for us is to regulate food, sleep, recreation, and work. Srila Prabhupada says that we cannot stop these basic necessities, but certainly it can be minimized. Prabhupada says that our material body is really useless, as it is the source of all kinds of material miseries. But this material body gives us a chance for spiritual advancement, and for this reason, this material body needs to be maintained and it should be healthy and fit. For this maintenance of the body, various regulative principles are given in our scriptures, like what to eat, how much to eat, how much to sleep, and how much to keep awake, how much to work to earn money. Everything has been clearly mentioned, and all this is only for the reason that human beings can regulate and minimize their material desires of eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. These things need to be regulated as it hinders the spiritual progress. Prabhupada says that Krishna has given us food for every species in sufficient quantity. He has given food for an elephant and for an ant also. Elephant's food is huge amount, and an ant eats very less, but it is according to its size. Elephant cannot eat like an ant, and an ant cannot eat like an elephant. By this example, Prabhupada explains to us that we need not copy anyone. We just need to regulate and minimize our food, sleep, recreation, and work so that we may remain healthy and fit. Prabhupada says that we can have nice Krishna Prasadam to nourish us both physically and spiritually. Krishna has not stopped us from eating good and tasty food like chola bhatura, samosa, rasgulla, etc., etc. The only thing that we need to do is to cook nicely and offer it first to Krishna and then have Krishna Prasadam. But too much quantity should not be taken because that is greediness. Srila Prabhupada says that our scriptures have clearly specified not to take any food item which is not in the mode of goodness. This way, a Krishna conscious devotee regulates his food intake, and for sleep, he does not sleep for sense pleasure. He sleeps only to get energized for the next day's service so that he may serve Krishna in the best possible way. By the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, all the followers of ISKCON wake up early in the morning, have bath, and do Mangal Aarti, and they chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra daily. This way, their sleep is also regulated and reduced. Prabhupada says that 6 hours of daily sleep is recommended in the scriptures, and more than that, it is in the mode of ignorance, which is not favorable for spiritual advancement. Prabhupada says that a person should not work excessively to earn money for his sense enjoyment. He should work moderately to lead a simple life so that he has sufficient time to do the activities in Krishna consciousness. That is, to read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and be in association of devotees. This is the real meaning of Yuktahar Viharasya, Yukta Cheshtasya Karmasu, Yukta Swapna Avabodhasya, Yogo Bhavati Dukkhaha. Now I am sure that we have properly understood that a person who is disciplined and moderate in his habit of eating, sleeping, working, and recreation can mitigate all material pains and sufferings by practicing the yoga system. Prabhupada says that yoga system is given to us so that we can reconnect with Krishna by following a regulated and healthy life. Prabhupada clearly says that artificially we should not try to abruptly stop eating, sleeping, working, and recreation. Rather, we should gradually minimize it under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. I thank Srila Prabhupada, I thank Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and my Shiksha Guru, His Grace Harimohan Das Prabhuji, for giving us the knowledge of the most secretive knowledge of Bhagavad Gita in such simple and easy manner. I thank you for taking out time and listening to the words of Krishna so attentively. Now we shall meet the next week with the next verse. Until then, keep chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Watch the video very mindfully. Share it with others, as this is the only way that we can do good to the entire humanity, to the entire creation. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnavon ki jai. Please do write in the comment box what you learned from this verse, and just in case you have some questions, please write the questions. I shall definitely try to answer your questions by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.